there, fantasy owners. Welcome to Lift the Cup Fantasy, or LTC Fantasy as some call it. Today's our last chance episode where we're going to look at Sunday's game between Winnipeg and Seattle, as that's the last chance we got to hopefully push and to secure that title for you. I did overlook it in the previous strategy episode, so I do apologize for that. Thanks to one commenter for pointing that out. So we'll dedicate this episode to Zambilly. Hope you're watching and hope you enjoy it. With this, if you do have any player ads left, definitely use them up, because they do no good just sitting in your pocket. They won't. So even if you get 1 point, it's better than no point. So we will look at some defensemen and forwards, both from Winnipeg and Seattle, that do hopefully help you out, because 1 point's better than none. And if you do like the episode, don't forget to subscribe. That way, just in case you're a little late or one player isn't available and you need to look for another, it's easier to find the episode. Plus, we'll be starting up our roundup of team reviews, checking out their fantasy reviews in the coming weeks while the playoffs are going on, because what's better to do than talk fantasy hockey? So we'll get into some defensemen. And from Winnipeg, look at Josh Morrissey, only owned in 62% of Yahoo leagues, plays on that top line and top power play unit, and probably out of the defensemen of both teams, he's the one that's under 65% that probably offers you the best fantasy upside. And he has 5 points in his last 9 games played. Another one from Winnipeg is Nate Schmidt. He's only owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the third pairing, but does get second unit power play time. Yes, he only has 1 point in his last 9 games played, but it's slim pickings when there's only one game. And in those 9 games, he's still putting pucks on net, having 18 shots on goal. Just with the added power play time, might be worth streaming for you, especially if you have an extra player ad this week. Last one is Demelo. He's only owned in 1% of Yahoo leagues. He plays on the top pairing in Winnipeg, and he has 2 points in his last 8 games. And with that, he's thrown 15 hits. So if hits get you some points in your league, definitely somebody to consider. Jumping over to some defensemen from Seattle, look at Carson Soucy. Only owned in 2% of Yahoo leagues. With done out, he is playing on the second pairing and top power play unit. He has 2 points in the last 7 games played to go along with 10 blocks. Another defenseman from Seattle is Geniolexiac. Only owned in 5% of Yahoo leagues. Plays in that top pairing in Seattle. He's only had 1 point in his last 7 games, but he does offer some secondary value, throwing 15 hits and 12 blocks in those 7 games. Last one from Seattle is Adam Larson, only owned in 16% of Yahoo leagues, plays in the top pairing, and he's been doing a little bit of everything of late, having 5 points in his last 8 games, with 17 shots on goal, 20 hits, and 20 blocks. Looking at some low ownership forwards from these teams, I look at Paul Stasny in Winnipeg. He's listed as center left winger, only owned in 22% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the second line right now and top power play unit, and he has 8 points in his last 9 games to go along with 25 shots on goal. Another one is Adam Lowry, listed as a center, owned in 12% of Yahoo leagues, plays on the third line and second power play unit, and he has 3 points in his last 7 games, so almost half point per game, and with there being limited selection here, not bad value. And in that, he's thrown 22 hits. So again, if hits are considered, definitely take a look at him. Last one is Mason Appleton. He's listed as center right wing, available everywhere right now, 0% owned, plays on the third line and second power play unit. Yes, he's only had 1 point in his last 6 games played, but with the little bit of extra ice time that he does get with playing on the second power play unit, might be somebody worth streaming for you. Over in Seattle, look at Jared Mccann, listed as center left winger, owned in 25% of Yahoo leagues, plays top line, top power play unit, and he's put up 8 points in his last 7 games played, so really the only one that's been over a point per game out of these forwards that has low ownership, and 23 shots on goal. Next one is one of his line mates, Yanny Gord, listed as center right winger, owned in 18% of Yahoo leagues, plays top line, second power play unit, and he's put up 7 points in his last 10 games played. Last one is Maddie Ben, listed as a center, owned in 12% of Yahoo leagues, plays second line, and is on the top power play unit in Seattle, and he's put up 7 points in his last 8 games, to go along with 16 shots on goal. Again, as I mentioned earlier, if there is any players available, even some of the high ownership, if you're able to sneak one of them in, go for it. Use up all your player ads. Do whatever you can to get that win for you. And if you did like today's episode, please hit like, hit subscribe, and remember that bell so you get notified of future episodes. And we'll be out soon with our team reviews as we slowly get them out over the coming weeks. And good luck to all you fantasy owners out there.